IP addresses are expressed in binary and decimal. Binary is a numbering system of ones and zeros. These are called bits. Each IP address consists of 32 bits divided into 4 sections. These sections are called octets. Each octet contains 8 bits, or 1 byte. Working with binary can be challenging. However, the simplest way to understand it is the use of positional notation. Positional notation is when the position of the digit reflects the value. For this chart, if there is a 1 here, then this value exists. If there is a 0 here, then this value does not exist. If we fill in this example, see what values actually exist, and then add them together. Here, we'll get a decimal value. But what is the binary value? Well, if we collect the binary values that we filled in, we will form 8 bits, or a byte. With 4 octets being filled in, we have this. With our 8 bits, we can have a minimum value of 0 and a maximum value of 255. Another important skill here is converting our decimal values back into binary. If we have a number, say 204, we need to get the chart we used earlier and ask a simple question. We need to ask ourselves this question 8 times with 8 different values. These values will always be the same ones, if we're staying within 8 bits. Is my number greater than or equal to this number? The order we go in is 128, 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, and 1. Is 204 greater than or equal to 128? It is. Now what? Well, since it is greater than or equal to, we have to subtract the number. Our number we're subtracting is 128. So after subtracting 128 from 204, we have 76. From here, we can fill in this value and then move on to our next one. Is 76 greater than or equal to 64? It is. So, we subtract 64 from 76 and get 12. We can fill in this value and then move on. Because 12 is not greater than or equal to 32 and 16, we cannot subtract. We can fill these values with zeros. However, 12 is greater than or equal to 8, so we can subtract 8 from 12 and fill in this value. Our value is now 4. Because 4 is greater than or equal to 4, we can subtract 4 from 4, fill in this value, and then our answer will be 0 for the rest of the values, because 0 is not greater than or equal to 2 or 1. From there, we've got it. From 204, we have 11001100 as our binary value. When it comes to IP addresses, they will have 2 segments. The network portion determines what network a host is on, while the host portion uniquely identifies the host. IP addresses can share network portions, however, they cannot share host portions. These portions can be identified with the subnet mask. The subnet mask will allow devices to identify what portion is a part of the network portion and what portion is a part of the host portion. The most common subnet mask you will encounter is 255.255.255.0. The first 3 octets are the network portion, while the remainder is the host portion. Let's talk about an important piece of information for these kinds of addresses. There are 3 kinds in a network: the network address, the broadcast address, and a host address. The network address is used to determine the network. It will always be the first address. The broadcast address is used to send information to everybody. It will always be the last address. And then we have the host addresses. These will be the first address after the network address and the last address before the broadcast address. Here's an example range. ANDing is a binary operation to figure out what the network address is. To do this, you will need to compare the binary form of your host address and the subnet mask. What you are comparing are the matching bits between the host address and the subnet mask. All of the matching bits will be the network address. You can use this when attempting to find the network address for a certain host. Subnet masks can easily be represented with prefixes. Here's a chart representing subnet masks, their value in binary, and their prefixes. There are many more of these. For the sake of simplicity, only these examples are shown. There are three kinds of addresses: unicast, multicast, and broadcast. Unicast are individually addressed packets. Multicast is sending packets to a set of multiple hosts. This can be configured in DHCP. Broadcast is for every host in the network. Keep in mind that routers will not forward broadcasts beyond their domain. In the beginning for addressing, IPv4 addresses were segmented into blocks. These blocks are known as classes. Here, we have all of the classes. Class A addresses are able to represent over 16 million addresses. Class B is able to represent well over 65,000 addresses. And finally, we have Class C, which is able to represent 256 addresses. Something to note, there's a big difference between addresses and hosts. Take a look at our Class C. I say 256 addresses, but I did not define each address. Here's our example. We have the network address 192.168.0.0. This can be represented with 192.168.0.0 all the way up to 192.168.0.255. Did we count 192.168.0.0 as an address? Yes, it is our network address. .0 addresses count. So in this case, what is 192.168.0.255? That is our broadcast address, of course. And in the middle, 192.168.0.1 all the way to 192.168.0.254 are our host addresses. This gives us 256 addresses. Let's talk about IPv6 real quick. We're running out of addresses in the modern world with IPv4. This is one of the reasons why we invented a technology like network address translation. To solve this, IPv6 was created. IPv6 addresses are 128 bits in length and are represented in hexadecimal. Take a look at this chart. Hexadecimal is able to represent 16 values with a single character. This is how an IPv6 address will normally look. Using this chart, you can figure out what each value means. When it comes to addressing in IPv6, there are three rules that are normally used to make addresses both more and less confusing. Rule number 1, omit leading zeros. In an IPv6 address, you can have a lot of zeros, and in this example, we have a lot. How can we make this shorter? Well, in IPv6, you can remove leading zeros like this. The computer can recognize this as a zero without it actually being there, simply because it's the only item that we'll be leaving out, and that it's only in the front. Rule number 2, omit all zero segments. The use of double colons can be used to replace long hextets of zeros. Keep in mind that you can only do this once in an IPv6 address. Rule number 3, shorten zero segments. Let's say you already used your double colon. Well, because you can't repeat another one, you can represent 4 zeros as a single zero. With all of these rules in mind, you can turn this IPv6 address into this. There are three kinds of IPv6 addresses: unicast for single devices, multicast for multiple destinations, and anycast for multiple addresses. For anycast, the packet will be sent to the closest address. There are some unicast addresses that you need to be aware of. Global unicast. Like IPv4 external addresses, these are internet routable. By default, IPv6 is disabled. So, in the Cisco command line, you will need to use the command IPv6 unicast-routing. In addition to this, your device will also need a link local address to communicate on the local link. If you want to configure IPv6 related items on Cisco routers, all you have to do is add v6 after most of the IP commands. That's it for this episode. In the next episode, we're going to talk about subnetting.